So, the other thing on the agenda today was start getting this wire harness going. Now there's a company out there that you can send this to and they'll make it to whatever you want. You know, that stuff costs money. Save a little cost and do it yourself. You know, you just got to make sure you don't you know, butcher what you're trying to do here. You know, make your connections clean and everything you need to do. So what I've done was I've got this harness out of a 2005 CK truck. The application that I'm going to be using is out of an 0102, I'd say an 01 CK truck. The good thing is between the two vehicles is they use the same ECM connectors, C1 and C2 connectors. A little bit difference between the pin locations, but what I've done was I printed up 2005 harness connector pin locations and everything, and 2001. So I even got the ECM C1, C2 connectors as well. Now, I went through these whole thing so far, and everything that is in purple is I'm eliminating from the harness. So it doesn't matter if it's an 01, 05, it's not going to be installed. All the green is the stuff that's compatible with the 2 years, and everything that is blue has to get swapped over. It's the same circuit but in different cavity in the C1 or C2 connector from the 01 or 05 truck. So they're using the same circuit, it's just in a different location. So I just got to find them, move them to the right spot, and everything will be fine. So now the only problem with the truck harness is that this big bolt section runs over the old intake. You guys ever see one of those trucks? It's got the harness that wraps right over the top. Now I'm using the LS intake, and I really don't want the harness running over top. It's going to take away the cleanness, and you know, it's probably going to look like shit. So I'm going to have to open up the whole harness, take all the conduit off. I'll go through, eliminate all the circuits that I don't need. Swap out everything that well, I'll leave the swapping till after I get the position of the harnesses where I want it. Now I can buy all new conduit from Rick's favorite store, Princess Auto. They sell all this stuff. It's pretty cheap. They sell rolls of it in a bag. I think it's like $6.99 or something like that, depending on what size, but pretty cheap stuff. So I did go through. The only thing different from the 01 to 05 is the transmission range selector switch, which on the 05s they've updated the connector to this style. The old connector used some type of glue inside that once you plug it in, and after a while it actually fuses to the connector. So if you don't apply heat to it, you end up breaking the connections off the range switch. But I checked all the circuits through this connection and to the old one. All the circuits are there, proper pin location, so I'm just going to go with the 05 range switch. That way I don't have to modify that harness section. This thing does have drive-by-wire, so to find that circuit I got to eliminate it, and I have to put a TP and the IAC connector in there. I think I've got them in here. Yeah, here's the TP sensor. There's my IAC. So I got to install this stuff because I wasn't sure for a while if I was going to go with a cable-driven throttle body or a drive-by-wire setup. Now the LS3 intake uses a 4-bolt throttle body setup. Now GM does not use a 4-bolt throttle body cable-driven they only use drive-by-wire motors. Now, either way, I don't have a throttle body for either setup that I'm going to use, but Holley does make a throttle body, 4-bolt, cable-driven, but you got to take out a mortgage to get one. They're out to lunch, so I did find one almost half the price from BBK, so I got one ordered from them. The only problem is it's probably going to be about a month before I can see it. I guess they're in production, and once they get them made, then they get shipped out to the suppliers, and then they get shipped to people who want them. So I got my name on one of them. Like I said, it's half the price in Holley. I didn't have any luck finding one through Edelbrock. There was a few other companies out there that I've never heard of that do make them, but they were about the same price as the BBK, so I just went with the BBK one. So that's about where I'm at now. I'm going to get the all this conduit off, mark all my connectors. Cool thing about this is got all the connectors in here. It's camshaft position sensor. You know, it's a 3-way F metric pack. It's a black connector. You guys can see this. It tells you the pin location, the wire color, circuit number, and description of what it does. That's every connector on the harness. So right there's the evap connector, which is going, it's in purple, so it's getting eliminated. Not using evap. Fuel injector. Now there's different style injector connectors for these trucks depending on the RPO's vehicle build. So the ones I got on the harness now do work, but I did verify they're in the proper location, proper pin terminals in the ECM, so I shouldn't have a problem there. What else is that? We're still in fuel injectors. Now this is the fuel pump secondary. This is for if you're running a dual tank. It's purple, it's getting eliminated. I don't even think it's on the harness, but if I come across it, it's getting eliminated. Fuel tank pressure sensor, it's part of the evap system again. It's in purple, not using it. Emission coils are the same on any one you use. Knock sensor, pretty straightforward really. So that's where I'm going to get started. Now I do got to install a few relays. I'm going to run a 3-wire setup for the cooling fan setup. I've got the schematic for that already. I got that printed up. Actually, I think it's in the house. So the ECM is going to actually control those relays, and the relays are going to control the cooling fan. So I'm going to need one for fuel pump. I'm going to eliminate the fuel level signal going to the ECM, probably because the gauge setup I'm using, you can just run right off the existing wiring from the tank. So that's about it for that. I got to make sure all my AC circuits are there. Compressor coil, cyclone switch, high pressure switch. I think that's about it. I'll have to install a relay and a diode for the compressor clutch, just to protect the circuit when that thing shuts off. Yeah, so I mean, I got the access to all the schematics, so I mean, whatever they have from factory I can install and, you know, make sure everything's going to be the same and not run into any problems. So I think right now is I'll get this opened up and get the basic fit on where I want this thing sitting, where I want the ECM sitting. I mean, it's not that I can put the ECM anywhere, but I'm sure I can have a couple spots where it'll fit the best, and because I don't want to modify the complete harness that way, but you know, if I got to make a circuit a little bit longer, a little bit shorter, that's not a big deal. But you know, you start start going through and cutting the whole harness just to make another 2 feet to put this thing somewhere, you know, you can run into a lot of problems if your connections ain't good. And you know, I've been doing this for a long time and seen a lot of bad wiring repair, and you know, it looks fine and works fine at first, but as soon as you get a little bit of moisture and an open insulation, then I mean, it turns that wire green, and then you know, you're looking for a needle in a haystack when this thing starts to give you problems. So the less modifications you can do to it, the better. If you can run a whole new circuit from the pins to the connectors, like from connector to connector, that's probably your best bet. You know, there are ways to do a wiring repair, protect it, but it's not 100%. I mean, you know, nobody's perfect at doing this stuff, especially if you're doing, you know, like 100 wires. You know, 1 or 2 you're probably going to be safe. But so that's where I'm at now. I'm going to get this opened up and get all this conduit cut off, and then figure out which way I'm going to go with it. So until I get to that point, I'll show you when I get there. All right.